1 Samuel chapter 15.
Samuel also said to Saul,
"The Lord sent me to anoint you king over his people, over Israel. Now, therefore, heed the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, I will punish Amalek for what he did to Israel, how he ambushed him on the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infant and nursing child, ox and sheep, camel and donkey."
So Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 foot soldiers and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to the city of Amalek and lay in wait in the valley. Then Saul said to the Kenites,
"Go, depart."
This is interesting right here. The commentary in my Bible, it says, the expression utterly destroy is literally to put under a ban, similar to the ban placed on Jericho at the time of the conquest. The fact that no spoil was to be taken reflects God's judgment on the sins of the Amalekites, which, while such judgment is severe, it came at the command of a holy and just God. A holy God cannot let sin go unpunished. A ban, but it says but kill both men. Wait, what does that have to do with a ban, right? I will punish Amalek for what he did to Israel, how he ambushed him on the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them. I mean, they might have put a ban, like don't take any of the spoils, but utterly destroy them here, I'm pretty sure it means kill everybody, but kill both man and woman, infant and nursing child, and ox and sheep, camel and donkey. Right, that's literally what it's saying. So I don't know what this commentary is talking about. All right, let's keep going.
"But get down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For you showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt."
So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And Saul attacked the Amalekites from Havilah all the way to Shur, which is east of Egypt. He also took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag.
Edge of the sword?
And
How'd they get
best of
swords
the
now?
sheep, the oxen, the fatlings, the lambs, and all that was good, and were unwilling to utterly destroy them. But everything despised and worthless, that they utterly destroyed. Now the word of the Lord came to Samuel.
"I greatly regret that I have set up Saul as king, for he has turned back from following me and has not performed my commandments."
And it grieved Samuel, and he cried out to the Lord all night. So when Samuel rose early...
That's crazy. "I greatly regret that I have set up Saul as king, for he has turned back from following me and has not performed my commandments." So that means God did not know what Saul was going to do when he appointed him king. What? Right? God didn't know what Saul was going to do. So that means God didn't know the future. Which then it makes sense when people say God has a plan for you, right? Because why would God have a plan for you? Why would there be a plan if he already knew the outcome? It wouldn't be a plan. It would just be like, this is what's going to happen. Right? Why do you need to plan for something when you already know exactly how it's going to play out? But here God didn't know how it's going to play out. I greatly regret. Why would you regret something if you knew the end result already? I greatly regret that I have set up Saul as king, for he has turned back from following me and has not performed my commandments. See, so all this stuff, this right here, the way God was speaking with Moses and all that, right? I feel like when God created us in his own image, I feel like we're a lot more similar to God than we think, right? So God can't know the future of everything, right? And that makes sense if we have the freedom of free will, the freedom of choice, right? I mean, you could say that if he knows the future, we don't know the future. So we are making the choices free of our own will, and God just knows the end result, right? He knows what we're going to do. It's not that we're stuck in those ways. We can do whatever we want, and God just knows what that is, right? But if he knows that, if he knows what we're going to do tomorrow, today, and we find out somehow, can we change it if he already knows it? You see what I'm saying? There's like a little paradox right there. So this makes a lot more sense. I greatly regret that I have set up Saul as king, for he has turned back from me and has not performed my commandments. That's crazy. That's it right there. God doesn't know the future. I mean, I'm sure he knows the future in a sense, but he doesn't know the exact individual decisions you're going to make. Why else would he regret something? While he appointed Saul and he regrets it. The only reason you would regret is if you didn't foresee what he was going to do. This is crazy. Let me know your thoughts down below. This is kind of crazy. Let me know your thoughts about this down below in the comment section. I'm going to go back a little bit.
And he cried out to the Lord all night. So when Samuel rose early in the morning to meet Saul, it was told Samuel,
Saul went to Carmel, and indeed he set up a monument for himself. And he has gone on around, passed by, and gone down to Gilgal.
Then Samuel went to Saul, and Saul said to him,
Blessed are you of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord.
What then is this bleating of the sheep in my ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear?
They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep.
Uh-oh, God said to wipe them all out.
To sacrifice to the Lord your God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed.
Be quiet, and I will tell you what the Lord said to me last night.
Speak on.
When you were little in your own eyes, were you not head of the tribes of Israel? And did not the Lord anoint you king over Israel? Now the Lord sent you on a mission and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they are consumed. Why, then, did you not obey the voice of the Lord? Why did you swoop down on the spoil and do evil in the sight of the Lord?
But I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and gone on the mission on which the Lord sent me, and brought back Agag, king of Amalek. I've utterly destroyed the Amalekites, but the people took of the plunder, sheep and oxen, the best of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice to the Lord your God in Gilgal.
Has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold,
that's important right there.
To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he also has rejected you from being king.
I have sinned.
Whoa.
For I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and your words. Because I feared the people and obeyed their voice.
Sounds like
Now,
Aaron.
therefore, please pardon my sin and return with me, that I may worship the Lord.
I will not return with you, for you have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you from being king over Israel.
Dang.
And as
Bye-bye,
Samuel
Saul.
turned around to go away, Saul seized the edge of his robe, and it tore.
The Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today, and has given it to a neighbor of yours, who is better than you. And also, the strength of Israel will not lie nor relent. For he is not a man, that he should relent.
I have sinned. Yet honor me now, please, before the elders of my people and before Israel, and return with me, that I may worship the Lord your God.
I don't understand that. Why does he keep saying the Lord your God? It's your God too, right, Saul? It's not just Samuel's.
So Samuel turned back after Saul, and Saul worshipped the Lord. Then Samuel said,
Bring Agag, king of the Amalekites, here to me.
So Agag came to him cautiously.
Surely the bitterness of death is past.
As your sword has made women childless, so shall your mother be childless among women.
Samuel hacked Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal.
Oh.
Then Samuel went to Ramah, and Saul went up to his house at Gibeah of Saul. And Samuel went no more to see Saul until the day of his death.
Dang, Samuel.
Nevertheless, Samuel mourned for Saul, and the Lord regretted that he had made Saul king over Israel.
Dang. Well, this chapter didn't go so well. Dang. All right, let's go into 16. Hopefully things take a brighter turn. I think it will. Look at the title.
Now the Lord said to Samuel,
How long will you mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill your horn
God's
with oil
tired. Like,
and
come on,
go.
get over it.
I am sending you to Jesse, the Bethlehemite, for I have provided myself a king among his sons.
How can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me.
Take a heifer with
I mean,
you
you told him
and say,
straight to
I have
Samuel. You told him straight to his face already. Like, you're gone. We already got a new king.
come to
He's better than you.
sacrifice to the Lord. Then invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do. You shall anoint for me the one I name to you.
So Samuel did what the Lord said, and went to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said,
Do you come peaceably?
Peaceably. I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice.
Then he consecrated Jesse and his sons, and invited them to the sacrifice. So it was, when they came, that he looked at Eliab and said,
Surely, the Lord's anointed is before him.
But the Lord said to Samuel,
Do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
Okay. I wonder what God saw initially in Samuel's heart then. Because Samuel, I mean, it's not Samuel, Saul. Because Saul, wasn't he like the tallest and greatest looking of the Israelites? So, based off that, I think that's why Samuel said, okay, it's probably Eliab, right? Because he It's probably the greatest looking of the brothers. Yeah, I'm wondering what went through God's mind when he was picking Saul and then now picking David, right? Is he consciously making a change in how he selects because of what happened with Saul? Because he regretted choosing Saul? Or did he look at Saul's heart the first time around but did not anticipate how maybe the power of being king had changed him, right?
So Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said,
Neither has the Lord chosen this one.
Then Jesse made Shammah pass by. And he said,
Neither has the Lord chosen this one.
Thus Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. And Samuel said to Jesse,
The Lord has not chosen these. Are all the young men here?
There remains yet the youngest. And there he is, keeping the sheep.
Send and bring him, for we will not sit down till he comes here.
So he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, with bright eyes, and good-looking. And the Lord said,
Arise, anoint him, for this is the one.
Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel arose and went to Ramah. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and a distressing spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servants said to him,
Surely, a distressing spirit from God is troubling you. Let our master now command your servants, who are before you, to seek out a man who is a skillful player on the harp. And it shall be that he will play it with his hand when the distressing spirit from God is upon you, and you shall be well.
Provide me now a man who can play well, and bring him to me.
Look, I have seen a son of Jesse the Bethlehemite, who is skillful in playing, a mighty man of valor, a man of war, prudent in speech, and a handsome person. And the Lord is with him.
What? I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, who is skillful in playing, right? That's David. A mighty man of valor, a man of war, prudent speech, and a handsome person. I thought he's the youngest one. I mean, they said he was good looking, but a mighty man of valor and a man of war. So he was a soldier already? Okay, I always thought that David was just the youngest one, didn't have much experience. He just took care of the sheep, straight up hardcore underdog. But no, it looks like David's a mighty man of valor and a man of war, and prudent in speech and a handsome person. Okay.
Therefore Saul sent messengers to Jesse and said,
Send me your son David, who is with the sheep.
So he has some qualifications, David.
And Jesse took a donkey loaded with bread, a skin of wine, and a young goat, and sent them by his son David to Saul. So David came to Saul and stood before him. And he loved him greatly, and he became his armor-bearer. Then Saul sent to Jesse,
Please let David stand before me, for he has found favor in my sight.
And so it was, whenever the Spirit from God was upon Saul, that David would take a harp and play it with his hand. Then Saul would become refreshed and well, and the distressing spirit would depart from him.
Okay, that's it for chapter 16. That ended nicely, I feel like. That was a pleasant ending. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about probably one of the most iconic stories in the Bible. David and Goliath. I'm curious to see if there are any tidbits and details in this story that are different, or things that I didn't know about. Right? Because I'm finding that out, like little things here and there that I didn't know about, like just now with David. Right? I didn't know he was a man of war, right? So I'm curious if there's going to be stuff in in the story of David and Goliath, the story that everybody knows, if there's going to be some details in there that I haven't heard of yet. So that'll be really interesting. Check back tomorrow for that. Maybe jump into chapter 17 of 1 Samuel. And I'll see you guys then, all right? Hope you guys take care. Have a great rest of your day, all right? Bye-bye.